We can make many different kinds of observations in nature. We can listen to the birds, we can see the trees, we can examine the lay of the land, we can investigate the soil and the rock. When we do that, we can get a sense of the diversity of our planet. We can observe at many scales, even within one landscape, such as this one here in Frederick County, Maryland. We can see the landscape of an older forest, but if I turn around, we will be able to see a floodplain forest. And then if we look in the right direction, we'll be able to see a field beyond. So there's always an imprint of past and present land uses on the landscape, our human heritage. And then if we want to focus in on a particular aspect of the landscape, we can really see that diversity even more closely, or we can go into it in a little more depth. So if you look out in the direction that this camera is pointed, we can see quite a few different kinds of trees. Some have smooth bark, some have ridged bark, some have kind of a muscly look. Others may have a chippy bark, like the black cherry that we're looking at now. They have different shapes. Some grow straight, others grow in more of a hunchback, curved way. So there's quite a lot of diversity, even if you just look at one kind of life, the trees. Zooming in a little bit, one example of a different kind of tree is the American beech. Nice smooth bark. And you can actually look at the buds. Even though we do not have the leaves on the tree at this time, we can look at the buds, and the beech has a tannish brown, long, elongated bud. The beech has alternate leaf arrangement, so the buds don't come off the twig opposite each other. They're alternating. Zooming into another kind of tree, like I mentioned earlier, is the black cherry. And on this large tree, this older tree, we can't look at the buds in this case on the twig, but we can look at the bark. And in an ecology class, you might have your professor or somebody else that you're learning from, a naturalist, refer to this bark as burnt potato chips. So this tree actually does look like that. I usually don't see it, but this one does. The younger cherries have what are called lenticels in the smoother bark. These are either vertical or horizontal lines that actually help provide gas exchange for the tree. So that is the black cherry. The black cherry has an edible fruit, and actually the cherry bark is used for medicinal purposes. Now we go to the Osage orange, which is a tree that has thorns on its twigs. There's a thorn in your field of view. It also tends to have an orange cast to the bark, and it has an interlacing, sinuous style to the bark. It also is often a tree that is hunched over. Okay, it doesn't get particularly tall usually. And the fruit is very distinctive. We're a little bit past when we would find a fruit here, but they look like extra big tennis balls. Zooming in to one more kind of tree. We go to a tree with a distinct style. This is Carpinus. That's the genus, the Latin name. One common name would be musclewood because the growth style of the trunk ends up looking like muscles. Does have a smooth bark, but it does have that muscly appearance, and it has alternate small buds and alternate arrangement. It's not a particularly big tree. It grows down in floodplains lots of times, or on the toe slopes, which is where we're located here. One last tree. Looking at a larger, older tulip poplar, also known as yellow poplar, Liriodendron tulipifera. They tend to grow straight. You can often see last year's fruit up on the upper branches. Look like little cups from the ground. And when you look at the bark, it has both a prominent ridged pattern, and it also has some cross-hatching. So a little feel of a herringbone pattern as well. So this is just one example of looking at the diversity in the landscape, and we can take our observations and we can delve into the literature, we can delve into many other sources of information, other humans, naturalist programs, websites, and we can deepen our knowledge and link it to the observations we have made.